Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Dech Teck. I am Dell, and today we're going to talk about Grenzo Dungeon Warden again. I think the last time I did a video with this one, I talked about how I want to do some updates. It should still be on my channel. I don't think I'm going to get rid of it anytime soon. I'm just going to leave it there. But I will mark that this is an update video. I might even put a link to this video and the other one. I don't know. Figuring out as we go, but I have added a lot of stuff to this deck, changed a lot of stuff. I want to call it optimization, but it's not really too optimized in my opinion. It's a lot of random chance still, a lot more creatures than I had before, a lot more synergy, let's call it. And I've actually won with it the other day. I was playing with some of my buddies, and I kicked ass. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But so I'm doing an update video, kind of show it off better. Rewatching the other one, I don't really care for really. I don't practice these. This should come as no surprise, but right. So Grenzo Dungeon Warden, mana cost of X, a black and a red, comes in with however much you pay in X. That may plus ones. Pay 2, put the bottom card of your library in your graveyard. If it's a creature card with power less than or equal to Grenzo's power, put on the battlefield. So the name of the game is get him out, start putting some mana into that, and hopefully pull out some combo pieces. It's a lot of fun. I like the random chance of it. That's why I don't like to say it's optimized. But there's a lot of things that help put stuff that are good there. But my tech is, at this time, I'm pretty sure everything in the deck costs, well, not the cost, but their power, all the useful stuff, is 5 power at the max. It used to be 6, used to be 7. Keep kind of pulling that back so I can get him out earlier and do some more stuff early. It's gotten pretty dirty. Played the other day with my buddies, did really good. Really enjoy what this deck does now. And without further ado, let's get to it. So, I didn't put these in any kind of order. These are all the creatures. It's, I think, half the deck at this point, but we'll just go over one by one to kind of go over it. So, as the flip card, I have a token play, so I'm just going to have this here. AR Widow of the Realm, 1 and 2 black, sacrifice another creature artifact, deals X damage to target opponent or battle, and you gain that much life for the mana value. 5 and a red for Exian, flips. Being a combat, return target artifact creature card to graveyard, battlefield gains haste. So, I don't see this side too often when I do play it. I like that sack ability to be able to smack somebody and gain some life, because a lot of the cards I'm trying to get from the bottom library have a pretty sizable casting cost. So that's where the value comes in for her. She's only a 3/3. This guy, though, I put him on top because I love this guy. Kiki Jiki the Mirror Breaker. Haste, you can make a copy of a non-legendary creature. We're going to put him off this side because there's a lot of tech with this dude beyond just shenanigans, right? Woe Strider comes in with the token, and you can sacrifice another creature for a scry ability. That's the big name of the game in this deck, baby. Scry. Putting good stuff on the bottom, right? Also nice for this one is it has a sacrifice outlet, and it gives a little token too. I have a goat token I got signed by one of my favorite artists. I don't know where I put it though. I gotta find it again. But I like that one. This is the one I meant to put before that though. Zealous Conscripts is one of the infinite combos in this deck. It's really good with these two. So you tap, make a copy of this, gain control of target permanent until on turn, untap it, gains haste. Hey, guess what? We're going to take control of Kiki Jiki again. Gets untapped. Tap, bink. Over and over and over again as many times as you want. Swing with a crap ton of Zealous Conscripts. I love this combo. I don't get it too often. I don't have too much search in here. But this is one of the big ones. Assuming no one has a board wipe, assuming no one has a fog spell. This is really fun. Of course, they'll go away at the end of combat when you make a token. But there's sack outlets. You could do some shenanigans with those before they go away, right? One of the newer cards, Haunted the Dead Marshes. I don't think this was in the last one. This has enter the battlefield, scry ability, and a way to return them if I have a legendary. This is pretty useful. I really like this card. I really like the art, the flavor of it. I was really excited when I saw that. Had to get it full, had to add to the deck. Did the Reddit Secret Santa for the summer. Oh man. There we go. A little crumb or something in there. And a guy was collecting, what he's called, Phyrexian foil oil slick cards. And they wanted to spruce up the deck, get some fanciness in here because I've been playing this a lot. I really enjoy this. Again, it's one of the highest powers in the deck. So this was cheap. I got this real cheap, so I got one for them, one for me. It's just really nice. Like the foiling the art. Pander Podier. I don't think I'm much to say about that. You guys know what that one does. We got Karvek, the Merciless. It's another great one. Another one of the higher end of the powers, but this was in here since it was a Chaos deck. Just a really useful card just to have out. Kind of mess with people when they're trying to cast spells. I like that. We have a few of these guys. This one's Fleshbag Marauder. Just one of those fun, just get it off the bottom of the library. Everyone sacks a creature, dump it to the graveyard. I really don't care about this guy being out, but this does a lot of work for thinning out my opponent's battlefields, because that's one thing this deck sorely needed, was a little bit of removal. Sepulchre Primordial. Another one I'm probably going to soup up eventually. This is just going to end up being foiled, so don't get to see this non-foil. Pretty good bringing stuff out of the graveyards. I like this card a lot. Another one of those little, not quite combo pieces, but useful enough. This is a little damage. I like having this guy out. There is something I can do, not infinite, but probably close to it. Stack him to make mana. Dump him in the graveyard. He comes back, persist. Stack him again to make extra mana. Dump him on the bottom of the graveyard. Bring him out with Grenzo, using some of that mana. Bada boo, bada bing. You can do a lot of damage with this guy. There's 2 or 3 of these guys do this too. Jury Master Review. I played a few people with this as the commander. This is really nice to have. If you have treasures, if you have stuff, I'm going to be sacrificing a lot of stuff. Gets real big, and then I can sacrifice him to really smack somebody in the face. Especially late game, when I need to end something, end somebody. Player removal. Another new addition, Dire Fleet Ravager. Just has a really good ability to lose a third of their life rounded up. High casting cost, but only 4. He's pretty easy to get out. Finally found this. I had this somewhere. I couldn't find it. I ended up buying when I went to a convention, just a regular one to put in, because I really wanted this card in here. Just a little bit of extra mana. And if I accidentally grab them in the bottom library, it's a 2/2 I can smack people with. It's Italian, Simian Spirit Guide. I like how apparently an Italian monkey or ape or whatever is Skimpanzee. That's cool. But it's pretty useful. If I just need 1 extra mana, or if I just need a little dude to pop out, help me out. Bontu the Glorified. Another scry ability on his guy. Don't really get to attack with him too often. Oh, well, I'm thinking the other guy. But he has becomes a creature, or attacks and blocks, sorry. Whenever a creature dies. Pretty easy to do in this deck. But I like it for the scry ability. I'm thinking of the red guy. I think you have to have no hand. No one has to have a hand size. Canal Dredger. If you're playing Grenzo, this is one that's pretty slept on. It is a conspiracy draft card. The first line of text doesn't really matter much. Saving it the second. It's that last ability that I like on this. Put target card from your grave at the bottom of your library. It is commander legal, even though this stuff doesn't really work. Well, as far as I know, maybe somebody will correct me. But as far as the website, when I built this, says it's okay. I just ignore the top 2 parts of text. It works out fine. Firewheeler, kind of like the other one I was talking about that I'm already blanking on the name. I'm going to peek real quick. Murderous Redcap. Comes and does damage. Does damage to a player, and then one of their creatures or planeswalkers. I think probably includes battles at this point with the wording. I'll have to check Scryfall or what's it called? The rules text. This is also one of those fun ones just to get out. You can ping somebody, and if I can get the combo going, ping them and ping them and ping them. Cardor Stormscourge Ermagerd. At his battlefield, I can make all my guys attack each other, my opponents. And when a attacking creature dies, each man loses life, I gain a life. This is some work. But speaking of workhorses, another combo piece where I can get this out. Has 4 counters. Remove 3 of the counters, make 3 mana. Sack it to something to make some more mana. Dump it back on the bottom of my graveyard. Or dump it from back on my library. Bring it back out. Rinse and repeat. 6 mana cost, but he's only at 0/0, so it's really easy to get him out with my commander. This guy does a lot of work too. He's been here for a long time. Flayer the Hatebound. When him or another creature is battle from the graveyard, does damage equal to the power to target creature or player. Usually I see him with a lot of weenies. I'll be bringing stuff out all the time. So he does a lot of work. I like his little jack-o'-lantern face too. It's cute. Sidisi is another relatively recent addition. It was another deck I'm starting to take apart where it's nice to have a search your library effect. So we're getting down low, maybe need something. It's nice to dump him in the grave and be able to get something from my library. Viscera Seer, sack outlet, scry ability. You have to have this in your deck if you have Grenzo. I already forgot the name again, but another guy I got just pings for damage. I like the art on it. I like the theme of it. It's cute. I like it. Lockhurst Heavy Destroyer. Again, one of those sack outlet things where bring it in, everyone has sack creature. I'm usually going to sacrifice this. Goes to graveyard, I don't care. It is a nice addition that it is an unearth ability, so if I really need to, I can. But no, usually I'm able to get only a 3/2 for 4 mana, but I'm not usually casting them. Your boy Chainer. I don't really have to explain this. This is probably in every deck I have with black, and it's just one of my favorite cards. This one's a special deck, so they get the Chinese version of them, but 3 mana, pay 3 life, bring something back from the graveyard. I don't have to explain too much about that. Coffin Queen. Bring stuff from the graveyard. Doesn't really need too much of an explanation there. You've seen this one before. Zancha. This keeps almost getting cut. I really like the foiling on it. I really like what this card does. It doesn't do as much as I'd like it to do. Like when I give it to somebody, I'm always waiting for people to actually pay that mana to draw cards and make them lose life, but no one wants to be that mean. Kind of a shame though. But I really like this card. I think it's going to be in here for a while. I don't know if I'll ever cut it, but someday something else might be printed better than this. We'll see. Balthar the Defiled, signed by the illustrious Carl Critchlow. This actually won me the game the other day, as of recording at least. This is a really useful card. Read the ability, 3 black, remove from the game. Each player returns all black and all red creatures from the graveyard to play. Really good. We had a board wipe. I drew this. I won the game. I really like this art, really like this artist. This is a fun card that I've been meaning to put in this deck and finally did, and boy oh boy, it's already paying for itself, right? Mayhem Devil, whenever somebody sacrifices something, I can do damage to any target. Like the art, like the flavor, auto include. We may need to get a foil this guy eventually. Speaking of foils and speaking of names, Anathemancer. I was trying to say this the other day too, where I can never get this right unless I really tried. I'm glad I got that on film. I said it right at least once. Really like this card, really like this art. This has been in here for a while. I don't have to explain too much about it. Unearth ability is really nice, but you're able to ping somebody for how many non-basics they have in Commander. That's not too hard. They're going to have a lot. Dockside Extortions, everyone's favorite. Will it get banned? Won't it get banned? I don't know. But man, when I get this, it pays for itself. You pull it off the bottom of your library, it's always a treat. Hidetsugu, Devouring Chaos. Got there eventually. I really want to get one of the alternate art flames. There's one with green, which I love at the store. A lot of money right now. I don't know if I can justify buying it, but black, sacrifice a creature, scry 2. Love the scry ability, love the sack outlets. The rest of this I don't really ever worry too much about, but there it is. Scrying ability would help if I did need to do that, if I get something big. But usually I'm putting stuff on the bottom that I want to reanimate. Null Priest of Oblivion. Love this card because you pull from the bottom of your library. If you don't cast it, you can still pay the kick across when it enters the battlefield. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked. So if you pull this for free, pay the 3 in the black, you can still do that second ability. Little known fact. I love that. Cause some arguments with people that don't know the rules too well, but it's a lot of fun to do. Fell on the Third Path. Another one I always contemplate cutting, but it's just a good ability to be able to kind of reanimate something from the graveyard. I really only care about entering the battlefield effect, so the fact that it gets sacrificed at the next down step doesn't matter too much to me. Especially because a bunch of sack outlets that I can end up using that for. This guy carries this deck. Let me tell you how many games I've won because of this little turd right here. That bag of money, he's breaking his back carrying this deck, I'm telling you. I don't think you need to be introduced to Gary. But he is the boy, bud. I complain about winning or losing against certain cards all the time. If I lose to Gary, I don't mind too much because I love it. It's just a cool ability. I can't say this up. I don't think you guys need to explain. If you don't have this in your deck, you're silly. Merciless Executioner, another one of the new arts I'm really excited for. I don't really think I need to explain much more than that. Just comes in, everyone sacks one. Really good to have. This is another new addition. I don't remember if I had it in the last one. Ortheon, Hero of Lavabrink. The token ability, I can't understate enough, is so useful in this deck. The first one, yeah, okay, but the second one, you make 5 copies. Holy moly, does a lot of good stuff, right? The only thing I don't like about this card is it's only a sorcery speed activation. I don't like that, but they had to balance it somewhere, right? But if you're able to get that casting cost to make 5 tokens something, you're going to pick something nasty. Oh boy, you can do a lot of good stuff with this. Playcrafter, this one will probably get updated eventually. I have the Junji Ito art somewhere. I got to find where I stored it. I like this art a lot, but man, that Junji Ito art's just something special. This one's cool where it's a creature or planeswalker and people who can't discard a card, so they can get away with not having any creatures, but they still get hurt a little bit from that. We got, of course, everyone's favorite Slum Reaper. Same thing, everyone sacrifice a creature. Junk Troller, Defender. Put a card from your library or graveyard on the bottom of your library. Really useful. I highly recommend if you're playing this deck, play one of these guys. Does a lot of work, and it's a 0/6, so it's a good blocker too. Ward Eye Witch, also highly recommend. Every time something dies, including itself, you get to scry. So if you get this out early enough and stuff's going in the graveyard, you can scry this ability and then scry with any other abilities that may trigger as well. Epitaph Golem, again, can't recommend this enough. 2 mana, put target card from the graveyard at the bottom of your library. I don't think I have to explain much more than that. This one's a pet card. I just really love Brash Taunter. It's indestructible. When it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target opponent. Really good ability for a chump blocker if you need it. The second ability to do, you pay 2 in red, tap it. It'll fight another target creature. So if you really want to, ruin somebody's day and they forget this guy's out, you just activate him. He fights something big and smacking somebody right in the damn face, And I love that art. I just wish that this art also had the flavor text where it says you fight like a kobold. Also really, really, really cool. I love playful flavor text like that. Meteor Golem. This one I get updated eventually too. I really like the Secret Lair art, but I got this nice foil here that might be in here for a while. High mana cost, but you can destroy any non-land permanent that comes in. Can't tell you how many times that saved my butt. Red Dragon. This might be a newer edition. I think it might have been in the last video. This might also get cut at some point when I find something better. High casting cost, when it enters the battlefield, 4 damage to each opponent. That's pretty useful. And of course, Tormod Desecrator. Also, highly recommend this in your deck. One or more cards leave your graveyard, create a tap 2/2 black zombie creature token. So whenever things get put in the bottom of your library, you get a zombie. When things get exiled, you get a zombie. When things get returned from the graveyard directly, you get a zombie. Really good. Really good card. Actually, now that I think about it before I forget. So you get a zombie whenever you put something on the bottom of your library or leaves your graveyard, and you get a zombie when you activate Grenzo when stuff gets put in your graveyard and then reanimated. So you get 2 zombies for each activation if you do your triggers right. Really good card, guys. Alright, on to the artifacts. Those were the creatures. Move on to the artifacts, right? Put that off to the side. This one I'm going to update if I ever get the Secret Lair in. Scry ability. Legendary creatures can make it cost less, but usually late game, I'm going to have a couple out. This should make it better, right? I think we had this problem last time. I forget what the exact name of this card is, but it lets you scry 2. Crystal Ball, Seeing Crystal, I can't remember. But 1 mana, tap it, scry 2. Really helpful. Won't talk about the art on this one. Darksteel Pendant is indestructible and lets you do a primal version of scrying, which is before they actually had that keyword. Telegelad Stylus, put something on the bottom of your library. Permanent. But it's going to be a creature because, let's be honest, that's what you're going to want to do. Now this card is the card that inspired it all. I had a conspiracy deck with these 2 guys with some dumb things, and I got a lot of value out of this. 3 mana, put target card from a graveyard in the bottom of your library. It's going to be a creature, more often than not, right? Cauldron of Eternity. Actually, let's go back to this for a second. Please put this in your deck. This is such a good card. 2 mana, 5 mana altogether if you want to do it the same turn. Really, really good value. I can't stress that enough. This is also going to get updated at some point with the foil. I might not, because this is the one from the deck that I won Conspiracy. Same thing with the Grenzo. It has a special value to me. If I can get that signed by the artist, I'll never replace it. But until then, my greediness for foils and dumb alt arts might win out. Cauldron of Eternity costs 12 gosh darn mana, but here we go. It's going to cost 2 less for each card in the graveyard, so at minimum it's going to cost 2 black. I love this ability in the middle here. When a creature you control dies, put it in the bottom of your library. Holy hell, that's useful. I love that ability. The second part, you can put stuff on the battlefield. Hey, that's great too. This does more work than anything. When I'm able to cast it, let's say that. Soldevi Digger, 2 mana, put the top card of your graveyard into your library, on the bottom of your library. This card makes it difficult because I try to keep my graveyard in order, and people just like to move stuff around. I don't like to spoil what cards I'm going to end up playing specifically, but this also causes some trouble when people try to move stuff. We got Phyrexian Altar. Let's bring out the other altar too, Ashnods. Or just make some mana. This works with some of the combos, like I said, with Workhorse or with... I keep forgetting the dang card's name. I'm going to peek again. Rakdos Firewheeler is one. Dang, what was your name, bud? Murderous Redcap. Good lord. So if you can get Murderous Redcap, especially with Ashnod's, you can make two sets of 2 colorless mana. Pay 2, reanimate it with one of the other abilities too, like Soldevi, Digger, or something. You can pretty much loop the damage and infinite combo and win. We got, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on this one. Heartstone. I want to say it's Heartstone. Makes all activated abilities cost 1 less, i.e. Grenzo. It's in German though. So you can pay 1 mana for each activation of that. Sometimes I'm able to make copies of this with some other shenanigans I've done in the past where it makes it free, and you're just doing it as much as you want. Thran Turbine, also highly recommend in this deck. Just during your upkeep, you get 2 colorless mana. You only cannot use it for spells, so you're just doing a free Grenzo activation each turn. Can't stress enough, that's pretty good sometimes. Desecrated Tomb, again, highly recommend anytime a creature card leaves your graveyard. So if you're putting something back on your graveyard, bottom of your library from your graveyard, you get a bat. If you're activating Grenzo, comes out in your graveyard, goes to the battlefield, you get a bat. So a lot of times this helps with, I guess, the Ashnod's Altar or Phyrexian Altar, where you can use it for mana, you can use it for chump blockers. It's really helpful to have flyers. There's not really many flyers in this deck, and that's saved my butt a few times just having a bunch of damn bats keeping me safe. And, this is another pet card that I should cut. It's not very good, but I love it. You roll a d20. I don't usually have cards in my hand, so I usually get the result without subtracting. 1 to 9, you return a card at random from your graveyard to your hand. Not so good. 10 to 19, you draw 2 cards. Not too bad. And then the last ability is the best. You crit. You put a card from any graveyard on the battlefield in your control. When it dies, its owner loses the game. That's a lot of fun. I have so many sack outs, I just bring somebody's something stupid back and sack it, and then... But I think it's also to incentivize you for not taking stuff from your own graveyard. You know what I mean? But on to the enchantments. Not too many in here anymore. Of course, Shadows of the Past, can't recommend enough. Just has an ability where if you have a creature die, when a creature dies, anybody's, scry 1. And it has a little thing where you can do some stuff that's kind of under the artist signature. 4 in a black. Opponent loses 2 life, you gain 2 life. Active this ability if you have 4 or more creature cards in your graveyard. That does some work. Not too bad, but that scry ability is where it's at. Braid of Fire, also can't stress enough how good this is in the Grenzo deck. You just add a bunch of red mana to your upkeep. You can't use it when in your main phase, but you can dump that in there if you start getting enough. Just activate Grenzo a couple times for free, right? Another pet card in this deck that I should cut, but I love this card. It's really hard to get out, but when you do, everyone's going to have a bad time. Everyone loses half their life beginning of each upkeep. And then, of course, last 2. Relatively new. Anytime a creature dies, or creature I control dies, everyone has to sacrifice a creature. A lot of fun. Works especially well with my little sack creatures. Some Scry lands. Again, can't recommend enough. Excuse me. Enters battlefield, you scry 1. That's when you can pay 1, make any mana color. Works pretty good. Zolfarian Void, same thing, enters battlefield, scry 1. Grey Havens, also new edition, really pretty foil. Scry 1, colorless mana, and you can add any color as long as they're in the graveyard. And of course, Temple of Malice in your colors. Cool new retro frame. These are all great with, oh, Hellspells, I should have had it out already. Rakdos Carnitarium. Let's grab that first. Let's pretend we didn't see all the rest of those cards and just talk about this. So you can bounce a land. In itself, not too great, but you bounce one of the scry lands, you get a free scry again. A little tech deck for you. Alright, this bad boy. Got this at the convention. Trade a bunch of my stuff in for this. It's damaged, but you can't tell in the sleeve, which is great. So you got a hell of a discount. It's signed by the artist. That means something to me. It's special. Got a really good deal on this, and it's going to be a treasure for a long time. We got our dual lands, let's say. Tainted Peak. As long as you have a swamp, you can play both colors. Spawning Marsh counts as a Swamp Mountain. Swamp Mountain. Banner's tapped. Haunted Ridge. Same thing. Dragon Skull Summit. French, I believe. Command Tower. Everybody's favorite, signed by the artist. Geothermal Bog. Iron's Tapper counts as Swamp or Mountain. Black Cleave Cliffs. 2 or fewer lands. Shadow Blood Ridge. Filter Land. Luxury Suite. Pretty cool foil. This is relatively new. We have 2 more opponents. Also pretty new. I don't remember if it was in the last video. I just really love this land. Not really that useful, but hell, I like it. Speaking of liking it, Sulphurous Springs. I really love the art on this one. Chinese Blood Crypt and Bloodstained Mire. This usually is searching out for one of the duels. Even tapped ones if I need it. Had to get that retro look. I love that. We have some utility lands. Ancient Tomb for 2 mana. Pings you for 2. Phyrexian Tower, which at some point I'm going to get the older version of the Switch out. That's probably going to be the last update I do for a while on the lands. And my favorite, Mad Blind. No, I'm sorry. Shuffle your library. Usually I forget about that final ability where I think I cheated in one game I played because I forgot about it, and I was shuffle whenever I didn't have anything good and wanted to scry again. You know what I mean? But here we're at the end. The basics, same as before. More swamps than mountains. Kind of had them shuffled up a little bit, but I like doing different arts. That's still one of my favorites too. And for this one, for some reason, I just found some weird forms, mostly Chinese, Japanese, and Russian. I have a German and a French, I believe, just to mix it out. I'll probably rotate those out too at some point. We'll see how that goes. But hope I gave you guys some ideas for your decks. Do you have any recommendations for mine? Leave them in the comments. Like I said, this is one of my decks I've had for a while that's slowly crawling up the ranks of one of my favorites. Just because I put so many weird, crazy things to do in it now, it's just a lot of fun now. Won a fair amount, so that's good. It's a plus. Not always about winning, but sometimes you just want to win, right? And I like winning with the weird combos. Let me tell you, that Gary card, that usually wraps up the games for me. I think all the games I usually win, it's usually Gary doing the work. So, how do I want to wrap this up? That's about all I gotta say. So, till next time, love you.